Hello everyone, welcome back to Just My Stupid Opinion. I'm Adrian Lloyd. So just a couple things I wanted to touch on today, and I can't really say I have really this too much thought out or planned, so I kind of just want to get into it. So obviously the big news over the last few days has to be that the government has enacted the Emergency Measures Act to deal with these protesters. Now, I might be wrong here, but I thought this was supposed to be a small fringe minority that should be easily dealt with. But Justin Trudeau found it necessary in order to bring in the act, this centralized power, in order to deal with these people that has really not been, at least talking about the Emergency Measures Act, has never been enacted. Before it was the War Measures Act. But the problem is with this is that how can this man justify this use when it's only been used before in 3 separate times? The War Measures Act was used in World War I, World War II, and then during the Quebec FLQ crisis. So we're actually in a time of peace. And the problem is that despite all their talk about the extremism and the violence that is coming out of this convoy, it's been very peaceful. I've talked to people that are in downtown Ottawa. I've gotten to be down there and see what's going on. And the people there, aside for the fact that they're upset about what's being put into place, there really hasn't been any real issues down here, and I don't give a shit what anyone else in Ottawa is telling you. Life has been more or less working as normal. These truckers, while the people in downtown have had, sure, they've had their lives that have been disrupted. Do you want to know why I don't really give a shit about downtown Ottawa? Because downtown Ottawa is a fucking gutter. This is a place where drunks, druggies, and fucking government workers go. The area right around where they are Wellington Street, if you just go over the bridge there where the canal is, you're getting onto Rideau Street. Rideau Street has a long reputation of just being a shit place to be. The McDonald's on Rideau Street has fights all the time that are in there. There are people that are literally walking all around down there, drunk out of their mind, fucking high as a goddamn kite. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like these are this is really the best that Ottawa has to offer. So why should I give a shit if somebody working downtown, the government worker in his $2,000 suit, is inconvenienced by the trucker, or the fucking pilled out goddamn apartment dweller down there, some bitch that is all high on Adderall and Xanax, that is inconvenienced by this. The fact of the matter is, despite the claims by Justin Trudeau and his government about an occupation, or Doug Ford about it being a siege, this couldn't be further from the truth. Because in both of these situations, an entire city becomes paralyzed in fear about what's going to happen. In fact, using this term is an insult to those who have actually lived through these things. They want you to believe that the people in Ottawa are experiencing something that the people in, like, Fallujah were dealing with. Like, as if the people in Fallujah during the war and the people in Ottawa have something similar, and it couldn't be further from the truth. Sure, there's inconveniences. Yes, it's been loud until they put the injunction on the honking, but it was to make a point and make a presence known. And Justin Trudeau could have actually probably solved a lot of this if he was willing to come out and talk to him. See, he's trying to make it seem like he's trying to pull some fucking alpha move. That he's not going to be pressured into talking to these people. And they said things like Omar Algebra said this, and I know he's speaking for the government on this, but he was saying earlier on, like a week or so into it, These truckers, their voices have been heard. It's time to go home and engage with your public officials. The reason these people are down there is because they've tried this tenfold, 100-fold, over and over and over again. They've tried to engage with their elected officials, and nothing has been done. Their voices have been ignored. They basically got the, yeah, go away. And then the government is shocked when all these people arrive in Ottawa and are saying, we're not going to move anywhere. Why do you think this was happening? It was a group of Canadians that were disenfranchised, that feel that their voices haven't been heard, and it's right, and it's true, their voices haven't been heard. But instead of trying to alleviate that pressure, instead of trying to make them feel like their voices are being heard, instead, he completely ignores them. Instead, he is unwilling to engage with them. And he's wondering why these people won't leave. The man has exasperated and made this situation a hell of a lot worse than it needed to be. And this is the whole thing, at least from my perspective, when talking about the mask mandate, not just the mask mandates, but all these mandates in general, is that what Canadian society should do, because it's the type of society we were built on, what should be happening is that these sort of mandates should be up to the individual. Every single person should be able to decide, do they want to get the vaccine or not? Do they want to wear a mask or not? Every single part of this should be up to the individual. That means that if you wanted to get the vaccine, get the vaccine. You want to wear a mask? Wear a mask. Go for it. But that's not what's happening here. On one side, we have people who wanted to make a decision for themselves and just wanted to be left alone. On the other side, we have a group of people that are trying to force this on the people that want to be left alone, not giving them a choice, despite the fact they claim the opposite. There's been a few videos where people are saying, you can always decide if you want to wear the mask or not want to wear the mask, if you want to get the vaccine or no. But instead, they've taken every opportunity to attack these people, not just with words, but with actions. They've gone after their ability to just engage in society. They've marginalized these people, and they've also gone after their jobs, their ability to put food on the table for their family and keep a roof over their head. That's the other thing about a number of people, maybe not majority or anything, but there's enough people that are down there because they're basically homeless. Because they've had their jobs stripped from them, they can't pay their bills, can't pay their rent, can't pay their mortgage, so they don't have anywhere else to go. Well, fuck it. I'm going to park myself outside of Parliament until something changes. But it seems like tomorrow is going to be when, from the whispers that I'm hearing, it seems like tomorrow is when the RCMP most likely, but also Ottawa Police. The police might be breaking up what's going on downtown. It seems that way because there have been videos of exercises that are being run by the police in Ottawa where it seems like they're preparing to move in. The RCMP are probably going to pull out the armored trucks like they did down in Windsor. Probably going to pull out the armored trucks and their tactical gear and their rifles in order to try and intimidate the people, because this is what the RCMP does, you know? They look like they're trying to start a war with their own people. Where is it? Oh. Like we can see here, that was taking place down in at Ambassador Bridge.
Off the property, please.
I mean, look at these people. They look like they're trying to LARP in the military. And that's the way that you are looking upon your fellow Canadian citizens here. I remember a few months ago, I don't remember who was in response to. Maybe it was Justin Trudeau. Maybe it was, Doug Ford or something. But after they were announcing something, I ended up saying, well, okay, this is war. And someone thought I was being exaggerating, but the government is declaring war on its own people when they're pulling this in. When they are bringing out this sort of equipment, that's the type of thing you use against your enemy. This Emergency Measures Act, which is really the War Measures Act, I don't care if they've really changed it that much. That's what they're doing around here. That's what they're doing with this act. That is a declaration of war against your own people. A declaration of war from a weak man. So we'll end up seeing what takes place tomorrow. Whether they end up actually breaking this up or if it takes place a little later on or whatever. But it looks like they're ready to move in on this. The question is what's going to come next? See, a lot of people are under the impression that this will be the end. We break it up and we're all good to go. Nothing else is going to happen. But when what seems to be the last pleading attempt to get the government to hear these people's voices and they have ignored it, you haven't given people a lot of options as to what to do next. And the things that you're doing, you're trying to claim that this is some sort of domestic terrorism that we're doing. That's part of the War Measures Act. They're going to compel tow truck drivers to tow these vehicles away, whether they want to or not, or face arrest over doing it. And they're going after people's bank accounts. They didn't even put in this much effort when it came to Canadian citizens joining ISIS, but they're willing to do it for their own people. On one side, you have people that are singing the national anthem and holding up the Canadian flag. And on the other, you've got people that look like they're ready to start shooting those people. I mean, really, in any history book, in any sort of story even, when are the people that are using military style gear against the citizens who are holding their nation's flag, when are they ever the good guys? Now, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and this is the Battle of Billings Bridge. And believe me, it is not nearly as interesting. It's not nearly as dramatic as they made it sound, I should say. But this is something that took place this past Sunday, which was Sunday the 13th. And the media was writing about it. I found it in the Ottawa Sun. Ottawa Citizen. We got here how the Battle of Billings Bridge attracted hundreds of volunteers, trapped Convoy for hours. Yeah, not much of a battle that took place. Basically, this is what happened. Shortly after 10 p.m. on Saturday night, Sean Burgess made a suggestion that spread like wildfire. Burgess, a senior instructor in global and international study at Carleton University, a fucking course, had learned that a convoy of trucks would be traveling on Riverside Drive on Sunday morning, heading west to Bronson Avenue, where the trucks would turn north and join protesters downtown. Burgess' plan was posted on a neighborhood Facebook page usually dedicated to arranging playdates and dog walking. A group of volunteers would block the corner of Bank Street and Riverside Drive, detaining the convoy for a short time, just long enough to make a point. You are disrupting the lives of the people in Ottawa. Please stop. So basically, this is what they ended up doing. Here are some pictures, as you can see, of the convoy and the protesters that were there. Now, there's one more thing, at least about this picture here, that I wanted to address. This dumb bitch holding this sign, call it what it is, domestic terrorism. So it's domestic terrorism because a bunch of people came in, blocked off traffic, and didn't let anything move from there. So she's calling it domestic terrorism, but they are standing in the street and blocking off traffic. So they're domestic. By her own definition, she falls in the line of her being domestic terrorism. This is how stupid these people are. They're doing basically the exact same thing. Maybe they don't have some horns. So by her own definition, her and these people are committing domestic terrorism. And this shows how fucking soft we've gotten in this country. How pathetic our lives are. Not our lives, how pathetic our point of view is on things. That some truckers coming in, blocking off the street and honking their horns is domestic terrorism. You know, not the shooting that took place on Parliament Hill several years ago. Not that. Not any other number of things that have taken place do you call domestic terrorism. But people here actually think they're in some sort of war zone right now. Like, how far removed from reality can you be when that's your definition of domestic terrorism? But there's one more thing I want to point out about this. I think it's important. So, they said that they were going to take over the corner of Bank Street and Riverside Drive. Let me show you something. Here's Bank Street and Riverside Drive. Now, what's around here is basically a sort of you got a shopping mall, Billings shopping mall right here. Bus station. This RA center over here is a recreational area. So, you know, they got a hockey arena, they've got baseball diamonds, they got soccer fields, you know, just anywhere like that. And then just a little bit over this way, yeah, right around here. This is Carleton University right here. So university, sports recreation, shopping mall. Just follow. Still going. Here is Parliament Hill. Right here. So you're looking at about 7 kilometers away, about an 18-minute drive. These are where our brave defenders came to protest the convoy. 7 kilometers away, almost a 20-minute drive. They can't even have the balls to show up to where the convoy is taking place to protest these people properly. So this article continues. After they ended up blocking off the street, it went on for hours. Police showed up, and it goes by. Decisions were made by consensus. As the hours rolled by, discussion circles were held to decide the conditions for releasing the trucks. No one wanted the trucks to be able to turn around and go downtown using some other route, or to head back to the supply base on Coventry Road, said Hardin. As the sun was going down and the temperature dipped, the truck drivers in the convoy were permitted a negotiated retreat. They were allowed to leave one at a time, but only after their trucks had been stripped of flags and Freedom Convoy stickers and surrendered any jerry cans. Now, first of all, what I think these truckers, these people in the convoy should have done was they should have, catch a nap. Catch a nap. Shut off your truck. Catch a nap there. I know it's annoying. But sooner or later, these people got to leave. They got, you can wait them out. They'll have jobs to go to, probably on Monday. They got to get out of the cold. They got to get some sleep. I doubt they have the resilience of a lot of these truckers. That's all I would have done. Catch a nap. Go get as much sleep as you possibly could. Wait for them to start dispersing. Then be on your way. But the thing is, too, is again, these people who were at this area, along with doing the exact same thing as the truckers and considering that domestic terrorism and not what they were doing, on top of that, they think they're the good guys, right? This is sort of their point of view. They're the good guys. And it was required that they take down the national flag. But you're the good guys. This is the mental gymnastics that these people have to do. They have to force people to go along with what they want. They got to take down the flag, and they try and hide behind this idea of, whenever it's convenient for them, this idea of patriotism. For instance, the Terry Fox statue was desecrated. Meanwhile, many of these people are probably going out and were part of the people that were tearing down statues of people like John A. MacDonald, for instance. When nothing was being done, the cops just were willing to let that happen. And the other thing is, too, about downtown, just going back to what I was saying about it being a gutter. Downtown is filthy. That's downtown. In fact, the truckers that have been there have done more to clean up downtown than even city council ever has. Downtown always had garbage everywhere. There were smells that were down there. People would just piss on the walls and things, and not much of an exaggeration. Maybe not just sitting right on Rito Street and pissing right there, but the little side alleys and stuff, just pissing right there, even though there's bars on every corners and restaurants and clubs and yada yada yada. The truckers were picking up trash. They were clearing the snow, which, I mean, I'm not sure actually about snow cleaning downtown, but to be fair, snow cleaning in Ottawa is actually pretty good. I've kind of heard a couple stories from some other cities around here, and apparently Ottawa is actually pretty good at clearing out the snow on there, so that's one thing. But they're cleaning up these statues. Downtown is a cesspool. It's a gutter. And the truckers, in a lot of ways, have actually helped make it cleaner. But these truckers, as much as they're doing it for themselves, they're also doing it for everyone else. Because all they want is the ability to make their decisions for themselves without being forced into and coerced and threatened and facing repercussions because they didn't go the way that everyone else wanted them to. The fact of the matter is, in many of these situations, it was always people that just wanted to be left alone. But people don't leave them alone. And then the people who don't leave them alone are always shocked. Shocked, I tell you. That finally the quiet people that just wanted to go home, just wanted to relax, just wanted to go to work, are getting pissed and doing something about it. So, that's really the position we're at. And again, people need to realize, who are in favor of the government mandates and the government themselves, that even if you break this up, this is not over. You can't just break this. You can't just break the convoy up and think that you have quelled that spark of rebellion in Canada. No, no, no. You break that up, you're actually in a much more dangerous position. You may not think so, but you are. Because now these people have realized that no matter how much of a protest they do, whether it's your standard go out on the weekend one day, you know, we'll march around with our signs and then that's it, we'll go home. Whether it's that or a protest that the government can't ignore, doesn't matter. They don't care. They're not going to change anything. So that starts to limit people's options, and it goes down a dark road that we've seen play out, not even in ancient history. I'm sure that people can look at countries in the last few years, at rebellions that have happened, and civil wars, and we can see how this started out. And that was probably one way. A lot of people felt that their voices weren't being heard, weren't being addressed, and they were being cast aside. And the thing is, too, is I only speak for myself, and I'm sure I got many people that feel the same way. But if you wanted to say that these people are not welcome in Canadian society, that's fine. Give them a spot to go out there and they'll create their own society. I'm sure there's plenty of people that feel that way right now. But you're not going to do that. You're saying they have no part in your society, and you're trapping them there. You're putting their backs up against the wall, which never ends well. Okay, that's it for me. Just wanted to cover a few things, get this off my chest. Plus, it's the first opportunity in a week or more that I've had to actually be able to do this. So, take care of yourselves, and we'll talk soon. I'm Adrian Lloyd. This is just my stupid opinion.